Hey everybody, what's going on? What's hot? What's hip? What's happening? What is shaking? Oh man, we got people coming in from Italy. From Italy, Guido Prescivale. Guido, how you doing, Guido? Good to see you. Good to see you. Oh my goodness, our good friend, the Reverend Wild Bill here. He's out of the gate before we've even gone over our stuff. And he says, Salud, salud, the Reverend Wild Bill, the elder statesman of the Tom Gully, Gullerinos, Gully Heads, Gully Gang, flock of sea gullies. Thank you for the $2, Wild Bill. Very much appreciated. And that leads me to say, hey, please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those free things that help us with the algorithm, almighty, all-knowing, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. And we do have super chats and memberships. You can avail yourselves of those if you'd like to. We do have a monetary goal every night, and it is any amount of money. As you just saw, Wild Bill shattered, and I mean shattered, that particular goal. But, you know, records were made to be broken, so don't feel like you can't donate. And turn on your gifted memberships. It tells how at the bottom of the screen. There may be some floating around even as we speak, and you're going to want that membership because Saturday, we're going to do a members-only show on Pearl Harbor. It will contain an overrated, underrated. There we go. Got all of that out. Let's see. Our good friend Guido that we just made says, good to say you too. Yes. Hey, Guido, I can speak Italian. Dino Zoff, Walter Zenga, Gian Buffon. Let's see here. I got more. Anyway. Totti. Oh, Totti. Come on, Totti. All right. Let me see what else we got here. Hungus Mungus is with us. Says, hi, Bill. People saying hi. People saying hi. We do have the most cheerful chat room on the internet as verified by independent sources. Yes, those are our favorite kind. As you can see behind me, we will be discussing Soul Train today, and I am, of course, the featured dancer right now. Not really. Hey, check this dude out. I'm going to cover him up for the rest of the show. You got here early. This is a little Lucky Strike extra. Hold on a second. Ciao, all the football players, you know, yes, look at Tardelli. Anyway, hold on a second. Is that dude not getting down or what? Or what? Anyway, just talking to my Italian friend about calcio. Serie A. Good to say you too. Yes. Viva la Juventus. Dino Zoff. Here's my imitation of Dino Zoff as a goalkeeper. Save. Here's my imitation, Dino Zoff, manager, technical. Dino Zoff used to sit there when he was a manager of Juventus and just smoke cigarettes non-stop during the match. Something you used to see in soccer. You don't see it anymore. Johan Cruyff. It was great. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Or what? I don't know I lost track. I don't know what. I'm sure it pertains to something very specific, but I don't know what the hell it is. Let's see here. Anything else I got to talk? Oh, yeah, we got a lot of stuff. Okay, guess what? A lot of things happening here. We do have subjects coming up. Terry Garr, Section 230, Dan Rather, Fairness Doctrine, Pop the Balloon, Stockholm Syndrome, Joy Buzzer, Wonder Bra, adult film star, whose name I can't mention until I actually get a book, Texas Roadhouse, Nicky Rowe, Prisoner of War, Gertrude Stein, Elephants, Pie, we're doing Soul Train today, Cracker Jack, The Anarchist Cookbook, Burka, Stan Rogers, Rita McNeil, Fred Hampton. We're going to do a show on Fred Hampton. And also COINTELPRO, Hee Haw. And I got another one for you, but I'll tell you about it in our list of upcoming guests. We will have Metal Maiden Vicky from Metal Maiden Vicky's Metal Euphoria on Sonic Asylum Radio. Hats off to Sonic Asylum Radio. They've been streaming us for years now. Ed Robertson, I'm not going to get the book out again, well-known author of television show books and expert on that, and, of course, the host of TV Confidential on your radio dial. Russell Alexander, the hitman himself from the Hitman Blues Band, talked to him today. He was about to take a nap. I was about to take a nap. That's where we left it. We're going to hook up tomorrow or next week, but he is going to be on the show. Cass Haley, number 2, the runner-up on the first season of America's Got Talent. And I played with his band for a number of years. Called him today, got his message thing. He's getting back to me. This is a big one. We are going to do a show on It's a Wonderful Life, the movie. And guess who my special guest star will be for that? Guess who? None other than, out of the coffin, from the Levy-verse, Bob Levy, the Reverend Bob Levy will be our special guest star on that show. Okay, that's everything that's coming up. I have let me go through a few of these things. Oh, wow. There's some cool stuff happening in here. Funky Bronco says, the Tom Gully Show, you're like Dice Clay with that cigarette. Oh, hickory dickory dock. Your wife was... Not going to do the rest of that. George Neal, oh my God, from the noted heavy metal band Halloween, says, good evening, Tom. I'm just popping in to say hello before I head out for the evening. George, so good to see you. So glad to see you're up and about. And by the way, this is just between you and me. Tubbies. There you go. That'll be $2.95. The Doc Dorn is here with us tonight. He said there he is, the most entertaining host on YouTube. He's shaking. He's happening. He's the legendary Stone Green Tom Gully. Thunderous applause. Thank you, Doc Dorn. Funky Bronco says hello. People saying hi. People saying hi. People saying hi. And Doc Dorn, how is your little one? People saying hi. People saying hi. Little boy blue. He needed the money. Anyway, that's what we got there. Quick note. Very quick note. Right back at you. Over the past couple of weeks, I've been, work from home here at my computer, and I've been sort of interacting with a channel. And recently on that channel, there's been a lot of talk of standards, parental standards, all sorts of standards. And today I came to an epiphany. I too have standards. And I can't be on that channel ever again, which is very disappointing to me in one regard. There's a person on that channel I have huge respect for, but how can I put it? Car alarm. Anyway, if you make the decision that you're going to go troll city and do that for views, that's a path to nowhere. People, you can get high view counts, but that doesn't mean you're going to get any scratch, money, wampum, green stuff. And you're also going to have to consider the kind of content you put out. Now, I've many times asked, what's the goal of this network? What's the goal of this channel? Nobody can tell me. Not the end of the world. But when you allow career drunks to just interrupt, and you want to make a circus of that, you can do it without my participation. I wish you the best, but I can't be a part of that. Not worth my time and effort. So enjoy the drunks, and I'll do something else during my day. All right, enough of that. Let's see. Oh, Monster Energy drink equals the best energy drink. You think so? I've been drinking. I had some Monsters here earlier in the week and drank them all. So why don't we get into our thing today, which is Soul Train. The Soul Train. Let me open my thing. The show doesn't really begin until we open our thing. And then I'll get through this as quick as I can, see if we can open the phone lines for a little while. I do have something to attend here after the show, so we'll see how that works out. Anyway, let's get it on, shall we? Let's talk a little Soul Train. What's the appropriate first picture for Soul Train? God, I love this picture. This is such a great photo. Look at that. There's Don Cornelius over there on the far right, just overlooking the proceedings of Soul Train. Let's do our quick overview for it. Soul Train, American musical variety television. So some people forget there was comedians also on Soul Train. Aired locally on WCIU TV in Chicago, Illinois for a year. And then it aired in syndication from October 2nd, 1971 to March 25th, 2006. That's a 35-year run. Okay, and of course, primarily focused on R&B, soul, hip-hop artists. The series was created by the man you see on the far right. I'll get a better picture of him for you, and that is Mr. Don Cornelius. Check him out. Check him out. There he is with James Brown, the Godfather soul, of course. And, Terry Nee has happened upon something I'm going to discuss here. Solid Gold Dancers was my horny jam. You know, kids, back in the days before Pornhub and all of that stuff, we had the Sears catalog and we had Solid Gold. There was another series similar to Solid Gold. I forget what it was. And then there was Soul Train. And Soul Train was the best one for my money, and I'm going to show you why a little later. Soul Train, of course, also difficult to watch sometimes because it moved around on the schedule. But when you found it, let's just say it was gold. It was just gold. As a nod to the longevity of Soul Train, the show's opening sequence during the very later seasons contained a claim that it was the longest-running first-run nationally syndicated program in American television history, with more than 1,100 episodes produced from the show's debut through that 2005-2006 season. Now, despite the fact that they stopped production in 2006, it held the record for another 10 years when Entertainment Tonight surpassed it in its 35th season. And in 2016, the rights to Soul Train, the brand, the library, the associated events like cruises and annual awards, and the Soul Train Music Awards are now owned by Paramount Global through the BET networks. Soul Train started in Chicago. Soul Train's a very Chicago thing, don't you know? And let's see here. It was not that far from where I lived. True story. Sprite was a sponsor of Soul Train. I worked for the Chicago Bottling Company doing advertising. Myself and 3 white ladies actually went to a taping and are dancing like at the outskirts. And I had, for the longest time, one of those, I don't want to call it a disco jacket, but it was one of those shiny, I don't know what non-natural material it was made out of. It was a jacket, and it had Sprite logo embroidered on the front and the Soul Train logo on the back, the one with the actual train. Where is it, you may ask me? I gave it to this girl back in probably about 15, 20 years ago, and I've regretted it ever since. Why did I give it to her, you may ask? I hear you cry out. 2 big reasons. Anyway, the origins can be traced back to WICU TV, which is an upstart UHF station in Chicago. And it started airing these like youth-oriented dance programs, locally produced in Chicago. And the latter one was Red Hot and Blues, and it was predominantly African-American and had a group of in-studio dancers. And that would set the stage for Mr. Don Cornelius, who was a newsreader and a backup disc jockey at WVON in Chicago. And he was hired by WCIU, the TV station, in 1967 as a news and sports reporter. Now, Don Cornelius was promoting and emceeing events, concerts, local talent shows, at Chicago area high schools and shopping centers and stuff. And he called this traveling caravan of putting these shows on the Soul Train in 1970. And that allowed him to bring this road show he'd been doing with the dancing and with the artists and everything else to the television. So after he got a deal, sponsorship deal, with Sears and Roebuck, which was a Chicago-based company, Soul Train premiered in August of 1970, and they were doing live, absolutely live, not videotape shows in the afternoons. It was a very low-budget gig, okay? And by that I mean that even in 1970, when the vast majority of programming had started to shift to color TV, theirs was in black and white, and it aired on weekday afternoons. The very first program featured, and people that like soul will recognize these artists, Jerry Butler, the Shylights, and the Emotions as guests. Now, this program that they were airing in Chicago only at that time was a smash hit. People went crazy for it, okay? And all of this success attracted the attention of another locally based company there in Chicago. And those of you who watch Soul Train will be familiar with, yes, the Johnson Products Corporation, or is it company? Company. And that they manufactured the Afro Sheen line of hair care products, and they agreed to co-sponsor the expansion into broadcast syndication. They said, let's take this nationwide, because I'm bad, I'm nationwide. Well, Don Cornelius and that syndicator targeted 25 markets outside of Chicago to carry the show. But they only got 7 cities to start with: Atlanta, Birmingham, Cleveland, Detroit, Houston, LA, and Philadelphia. But those 7 cities bought the program and started airing them on a weekly basis October the 2nd of 1971. By the end of that first season, Soul Train was on the air in those other 18 markets. Booyakasha! Cobra Kai! That's a thing now. Cobra Kai! And that's why I have my Cobra Kai shirt on. Thanks, StreamYard. Thanks. I can't tell you how much I appreciate how much StreamYard is doing for me at all times. I tell you, they're really helping out. See, they're supposed to be helping, but they're not helping. Now I have to put up all the other pictures. Anyway, you recognize those wonderful products from the Johnson Product Company. A full line of Afro Sheen products to, I guess, sheen your afro. Incidentally, at the time, at part of the time that this show aired, I actually did have an afro. I'm not joking. Like a Greg Brady afro and a fro pick. They didn't help. Didn't help at all. Not one bit. Not even for a second. Not even as a joke. All right, let me see here. I got 2 more. We'll do those in a second. I don't have to worry about that. Okay, back to our story. And again, thank you, StreamYard. Thank you so much. And also, thank you for increasing your rates recently. And your crappy product has gotten even more crappy. Love, peace, and soul to you. But I digress. At the time when this was happening, you guys have seen enough of the Afro Sheen, right? I mean, I can go ahead and move on to something else. Why don't I move on to this? Look at this. Look at these people. Are they not dancing? Are they not dancing? Those people are dancing. At any rate, the Soul Train, at the time there were no other commercial TV programs being produced by black people for a black audience. The only national available show by blacks for blacks at the time was the public television series called Soul. So when this program moved into syndication, it had its home base moved to Los Angeles, where it remained for the duration of its run. Soul Train was part of the national trend towards syndicated music-oriented programs for a niche audience. Hee Haw was for country music, and we are going to do a show on that. And the Lawrence Welk show, which we covered earlier in the week, was for sort of traditional square, super square, I can't tell you how square, white bread, mayonnaise, au fait, white people. Lawrence Welk show. And those went into syndication in 1971 as well. And they both also had very, 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 very long runs on the air. So although Don Cornelius moved his operations to the West, a local version of Soul Train continued in Chicago, and Cornelius hosted both the Chicago-based and the national Los Angeles-based programs simultaneously, but he soon focused his attention mostly on the national one. He oversaw the production in Chicago, which continued until 1976, and then they just showed reruns for about 3 years. The syndicated version was picked up in the Chicago market by CBS-owned WBBM TV at its launch, but very importantly, the program moved to WGN in 1977 and remained there for the rest of its Chicago run. Don Cornelius hosted every single episode of Soul Train from 1970 to 1993, except one very notable exception. Richard Pryor hosted the final episode of season 4, and beginning on season 15, Tribune Entertainment acquired the syndication contract, and they continued producing Soul Train until the end of the run in 2006, so 93 to 2006. Don Cornelius stopped hosting after 22 seasons. Let's get a little more love for Don Cornelius, can we, please, right here? As a matter of fact, let's do this one. Oh, my God. Here he is with the Staples Singers. Oh, the Staples Singers. Jeez. Respect yourself. Come on. The following fall, Soul Train started using celebrity hosts. And then at one point, a comedian, Maestro Clark, took over as the host. And then Shamar Moore, who you may recall from Criminal Minds, took over in 2000. In 2003, Dorian Gregory took over as the host, and he stayed until the very end. The production of first-run Soul Train episodes was suspended in 2006 during the show's 35th season. In place of the new content for 2 seasons, they aired the archived episodes, like the best of Soul Train from 73 to 88. That was because in the later years, Nielsen ratings dropped below 1.0. Most of the stations that aired Soul Train by that point were either Fox television affiliates or independent stations that would later become affiliates of the WB or UPN. And in the process, some of the stations that had Soul Train on the air on Saturday afternoons started rescheduling the program to overnight. And the future of Soul Train was uncertain with the closing of Tribune Entertainment in 2007, which left Don Cornelius Productions to seek a new distributor for the program. And he did that, and then he left. So there were a couple attempts at revival of this program. I'm not going to get into those because they're all kind of a joke. But Don Cornelius did continue to appear for Soul Train documentaries and ceremonies until his tragic death in 2012. All the rights and everything else are now under the ownership of Paramount Global, and that's where we are. But the influence of this show is undeniable. Some people have called Soul Train a black American bandstand. I think that is short-sighted. Another long, running music program, but that's kind of where the analogies come to a close for me, because American Bandstand was all smiley, pop, sugar, bubblegum, and just sort of an ersatz, not real. It didn't feel real. It felt like a veneer of entertainment had been just laid over. And also, the vast majority of performers on American Bandstand were lip-synced. Some of the performers on Soul Train were lip-synced, but not all of them. There's some Al Green performances that are live, and they're amazing, as well as other artists. Now, Don Cornelius, to me, had one of the smoothest interview styles ever. He'd be like, why don't you just introduce us to the members of your group here? They'd give all their names and what they played, and he'd be like, so you're in the studio right now trying to make your thing happen for the new album release. You're planning on hitting the roads. He was just so into the music business and was very good at talking to... Look, you get used to talking to entertainers, but musicians are a whole different bag, man. And he was absolutely just flawless at it. Cornelius acknowledged that American Bandstand was sort of a model for his program. But as the years went on, Soul Train evolved into its own tradition. And he didn't really like those comparisons anymore, nor should he. In 1973, Dick Clark, host and producer of Bandstand and man that was preserved in formaldehyde for decades, launched Soul Unlimited, controversial for its pronounced racial overtones, to compete directly with Soul Train. Cornelius, with help from Jesse Jackson, openly accused Clark of trying to undermine TV's only black-owned show. And agreeing with this, ABC canceled Dick Clark's imitation after a few episodes. Clark later agreed to work with Cornelius on a series of network specials featuring R&B and soul artists. Dick Clark was, you can say a lot of bad things about Dick Clark. I met him once, and I'd like to say a few bad things about it. But one thing you can't say is that he would hold a grudge when there was $1 in the middle of that grudge. Dick Clark was not about that. He was about, I know I tried to put you out of business, but let's go make a bunch of money. Don Cornelius was really very conservative in his musical taste and admitted he was not a fan of the hip-hop genre. And he believed that genre did not positively reflect African-American culture. And that was one of his stated goals for the series, is he wanted positive reflections on that culture. So even though Cornelius featured rap artists on Soul Train frequently during the 1980s, he publicly would admit to the artist faces, like Curtis Blow, that the genre was one he did not understand. As rap continued to move further toward hardcore hip-hop, Cornelius admitted to being frightened by the antics of groups like Public Enemy. Rosie Perez was one of the Soul Train dancers. In fact, let me see here, maybe the one that's behind me. Yeah, see behind me there, behind me over this way? That's Rosie Perez, who later became a relatively well-known actress. And I think on some of the other ones, I might have her in there too. Anyway, in a 2010 VH1 documentary, Soul Train, the hippest trip in America, that Don Cornelius disliked seeing the show's dancers perform very sexually suggestive East Coast dance moves. Cornelius admitted that he had rap artists on the show only because it was becoming popular amongst his audience, though the decision alienated middle-aged, more affluent African Americans like himself. That disconnect, which was openly mocked in an In Living Color sketch titled Old Train instead of Soul Train, eventually led to Cornelius stepping down as the host. Questlove, you guys know Questlove, right? Drummer for hip-hop band The Roots and a fan of the program. By the way, The Roots did an album with Elvis Costello. You're welcome. Authored a book chronicling Soul Train titled Soul Train, the Music, the Dance, and Style of a Generation. That was published in 2013. But let's get into some of the elements of this wonderful show. Now, the opening sequence always showed a black animated locomotive with multicolored smoke coming out of the smokestack and steam coming out of the sides, passing through a city, a tunnel, or through outer space around the earth. And the scenery around the train, as I just mentioned, changed as the years went on. The Soul Train logo was featured with a song or an instrumental playing throughout. One of the most distinctive parts of the opening was when Soul Train was announced, stretching out the first word into that high-pitched imitation of a train whistle. Let's see if I can do it. The Soul, I can't do it. Soul Train. It was so awesome. Within the structure of the program, there were two major enduring elements. One was the Soul Train Scramble Board. where two dancers are given 60 seconds to unscramble a set of letters that form the name of that show's performer or a notable person in African American history. In describing the person's fame, the host would conclude their description with the phrase, "whose name you should know." So it's great. This is a performer who started out of Jacksonville, Florida, had 3 top 10 hits last year, whose name you should know. Anyway, Cornelius openly admitted the series ended its run, and that game was usually set up so everybody won in an effort not to cause embarrassment for the people on the show or the culture in general. The other is behind me. Look behind me. It's the Soul Train line, which is kind of a little variant from 1950s fad called the stroll, in which all the dancers form 2 lines with a space in the middle for dancers to strut down the aisle and show their stuff in consecutive order. Now, originally this consisted of a couple with men on one side, women on the other side. In later years, the men and women had their own individual lineups. Now, sometimes new dance styles are moved or featured or introduced by particular dancers, and there was an in-studio group of dancers who danced along to the music as it was being performed. And I got to tell you, Sears catalog, American Dance, this was one of the better part of the show. The Soul Train experience was so real. It was so like real people dancing with actual professional dancers and stuff. And man, there was some good looking people on that show. The other thing for a guy growing up in a small Indiana farm area or whatever, in the suburbs of Indianapolis, that we didn't see clothes like that. And they were so out there and cool. I loved it. I loved Soul Train. Rosie Perez, as I mentioned. I could mention some of the other: Vivica Fox, Nick Cannon, MC Hammer, Jermaine Stewart, Heather Hunter, Fred Berry, Pebbles, NFL legend Walter Payton were among those who got noticed dancing on the program over the years. 2 former dancers, Jody Watley and Jeffrey Daniel, were members of Shalimar after they were chosen by Soul Train talent booker and record promoter Dick Griffey and Don Cornelius to replace the group's original session singers in 1978. Huge amounts of guest stars. Okay, so each musical guest was usually on and performed twice on the show. After their first number, they were joined by the host, John Cornelius, or the others, for a brief interview. And from time to time, stand-up comedians like Tom Dreesen, who Don Cornelius knew from his time in Chicago, Franklin Ajay, who was in Car Wash, would be featured to perform a brief comedy routine. Soul Train was also known for 2 very popular catchphrases, referring to itself as the hippest trip in America at the beginning of the show, and closing the program with, "And you can bet your last money it's all gonna be a stone gas, honey. I'm Don Cornelius, and as always in parting, we wish you love, peace, and soul." There you go. It was a wonderful thing. I think. I love Soul Train. I still love it. I'm loving it right now. What else we got here? One of the other reasons I like Soul Train, 2 big reasons. There we go. I'm just going to leave that there for a while because I think we all deserve it. I really do. By the way, catch out my man's high boots. That was a thing we didn't see a lot. And the golf outfits, we didn't get a lot of that in Zionsville, Indiana. I know. Okay, I'm going to just quickly go through a couple of things here. When the show opened, the theme music for the opening was Hot Potato by the Rinky Dinks. Now, this is the one I think I remember watching first, from 73 to 75, was TSOP, The Sound of Philadelphia. And that's a great song. I mean, when I hear that Sound of Philadelphia song, I think of Soul Train. I think of this time period. Soul Train 75, which is an actual song that was produced for this show. Soul Train 76 was Get On Board. Get on board. The Soul Train 76. And then that lasted till 79 when Soul Train Theme 79 was produced. Up on Soul Train, Soul Train's A Comin', TSOP 87, which was a remake of the original Sound of Philadelphia. By the way, composed and produced by George Duke. TSOP 89 was a remixed version of TSOP 87. I could go on and on and on. And let me just go down a list of people who appeared on Soul Train. Oh my God, there's too many of them here. I'm going to go through this as fast as I can. 98 Degrees, Aaliyah, Ashanti, Ashford, and Simpson. Average White Band. Hey, let's shouting out to my pale-skinned brothers from Scotland, the Average White Band. A lot of people hear Average White Band and they don't believe they're white. I'm not one of those people, but Babyface. Oh, Babyface. Shouting out to the 317. Babyface is, of course, from Indianapolis, Indiana. Philip Bailey, Anita Baker, the Baha Men, Tyra Banks, the Beastie Boys, Belle Biv DeVoe, George Benson, Chuck Berry, Big Daddy Kane, the Black Eyed Peas, Black Ivory, Bobby Bland. Oh, man. Blue Magic, Mary J. Blige, Curtis Blow, Michael Bolton. On Soul Train. Let's see here. David Bowie on Soul Train. The Brothers Johnson, Foxy Brown, James Brown, Jim Brown, The Boys, Boys to Men, Brandy, Tony Braxton, Peebo Bryson, Busta Rhymes, Tisha Campbell, Nick Cannon, Captain and freaking Tennille were on Soul Train? There's something wrong with that. But love will keep us to better shop around. I guess, I'm not going to put shame on their game. Irene Cara, Mariah Carey, CNC Music Factory, Cedric the Entertainer, the chairman of the board, Gene frickin' Chandler. You know, Duke of Earl. Cheech and Chong, Morris Chestnut, the Shylights. Let's see here. Club Nouveau, Natalie Cole, Bootsy Collins, Color Me Bad, John Coltrane, Sean Combs, the Commodores, Funk Shun, Eric Thomas Conley. Let's see, the Covered Girls, Culture Club. Culture Club was on Soul Train. Chameleon. Are you kidding me? Ozzie Davis, Morris Day, the Daz Band. Oh, the Daz Band. DeBarge and all the various DeBarges. Rick Dees, Disco Duck. Rick Dees was on the Dells, the Delphonics, Destiny's Child, DJ Jazzy Jeff and the Fresh Prince. Tom Dreesen, as I mentioned earlier. Sheila E., Earth, Wind, and Fire. Sheena Easton. I'd like to take her morning train. Let's see here. Tiffany Evans. Elton John on Soul Train. Let me check something out real quick here. We good. Let's see. Fantasia. Lola Falana. Jose Feliciano, Kim Fields, The Fifth Dimension, George Foreman, The Four Tops, Vivica Fox, as I mentioned, Jamie Foxx, Red Fox, Aretha Franklin, Kirk Franklin, Dougie Fresh, Friends of Distinction. Jim Brown was heavily involved with the Friends of Distinction. I have a Friends of Distinction CD right over there. It's on my coffee table as we speak. The Gap Band. Love me some Gap Band. Marvin Gaye, Gloria Gaynor. Let's see here. Grandmaster Flash and the Furious Five. Teresa Graves. You may know her better as Get Christy Love. You're under arrest, sugar. Brian Austin Green, Al Green, Love, Love, Driving Wheel. I could go, I'm a big Al Green fan. Pam Grier, CeeLo Green, Rosie Greer, Jasmine Guy. I haven't seen Jasmine Guy in ages. I miss Jasmine Guy. I'm getting through these as quick as I can. Arsenio Hall, Hall & Oates, Herbie Hancock, Jackie Harry, Steve Harvey, Isaac Hayes, Sherman Hemsley. Let's see here. Don Henley, Drew Hill, Gregory Hines, Jennifer Holliday, Thelma Hopkins, Thelma Houston, Whitney Houston, Terrence Howard, the Hughes Corporation. Rock the boat. Don't rock the boat, baby. Rock the boat. Gonna tip the boat over. Ice Cube, Ice-T, Ike and Tina Turner, The Impressions, James Ingram, the Isley Brothers, Jackie O, Freddie Jackson, the Jackson 5, Janet Jackson, Jermaine Jackson, Jesse Jackson, LaToya Jackson, Michael Jackson, Millie Jackson, Rebby Jackson, Jagged Edge, Etta James, for crying out loud, Rick James, Al Jarreau, Wycliffe Jean, the Jets, Elton John, mentioned him already. Howard Johnson, Grace Jones, Howard Jones, Mike Jones, Quincy Jones, Montel Jordan, KC and the Sunshine Band, Eddie Kendricks, Kenny G, Alicia Keys, Shaka Khan, everybody. B.B. King, Evelyn King, George Kirby, Gladys Knight and the Pips, Kool in the Gang, Kool Mo D, Lenny Kravitz, Criss Cross, Cut Close LaBelle, Patti LaBelle, Stacy Lattisaw, John Legend, Ramsey Lewis, I'm in with the in crowd, Little John, Little Kim, Little Mo, Little Romeo, Lisa and Cult Jam, Little Anthony and the Imperials, Little Milton, Little Richard, Tone Loc, LaToya Jackson, Jennifer Lopez, Ludacris, Mandrill, Tina Marie, Ziggy Marley, Tisha Campbell, Mickey Mouse Club. Yes, the Mickey frickin' Mouse Club was on Soul Train. Johnny Mathis, the Manhattan Transfer, Martha and the Vandellas, Maxwell, Curtis Mayfield, MC Hammer, Marilyn McCoo, George McRae, Michael McDonald. I can't forget. Brian McKnight, MC Light. Oh, God, I remember MC Light. Was MC Light, you gotta cool it now? I forget the MC Light song that I know. Anyway, Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, Method Man, Milli Vanilli, Stacey Mills, The Miracles, Melba Moore, Mr. Cheeks, Johnny Nash, Nate Dogg, Naughty by Nature, Robbie Neville, Aaron Neville, New Edition, New Kids on the Block, Denise Nicholas, Ohio Players. Oh, God, Ohio Players. Billy Ocean, the OJs. Man, Shaquille O'Neal, Jeffrey Osborne, Ray Parker Jr., Robert Palmer. Might as well face it. He's addicted to love. Parliament Funkadelic, Billy Paul, Peaches and Herb Pebbles, Mario Van Peebles, Nia Peoples, Holly Robinson Pete, Tenny Pendergrass, Cece Peniston, Pet Shop Boys, Wilson Pickett, Anita Pointer, Bonnie Pointer, the Pointer Sisters, June Pointer, Billy Preston. Nothing from nothing leaves nothing. Will it go round in a circle? I think it will. Pretty Ricky, Pretty Poison, Prince and the Revolution, the Pussycat Dolls, Richard Pryor, Public Enemy, Queen Latifah, Lou Rawls, Raven Simone, Ready for the World, Lionel Richie, Minnie Riperton, Smokey Robinson, Rockwell, The Romantics, The Roots, Diana Ross, Rose Royce, really? Sitting here in this chair, thinking on you, trying to see things my way, but not a word do you say. You don't even look my way. Girl, I'm spending my dimes, wasting my time, talking till I'm black and blue. Can't you see? I want to get next to you. I love Rose Royce. I got a live Rose Royce performance on CD. It's from Japan. It cost me a lot of money. David Ruffin, Rufus, Buffy, Saint Marie, Salt and Pepper, Michael Cimbello, Shalimar, Shanice, Shannon, Dee Dee Sharp, Silk the Shocker, Sinbad, Sister Sledge, Sly and the Family Stone, Snoop Dogg, the SOS Band, Spandau Ballet was on Soul Train, the Spinners, Mavis Staples, the Staples Singers, Bobby Starr, Edwin Starr, Jermaine Stewart, Sting, the Stylistics. Now, see, I did that. The Hughes Corp. Anyway, the Stylistics. The Sugar Hill Gang, Donna Summer. I think I might have gotten a Hughes Corporation wrong with the Stylistics song earlier. And for that, I apologize. Donna Summer, The Supremes, Keith Sweat. I'm almost done with this. Mr. T, Tag Team, Take Six, The Temptations, Tavares, Carl Thomas. not to be confused with Carl Douglas, The 3 Degrees, Justin Timberlake, The Time, TLC, Tom Tom Club, Tony, Total Tower of Power, Robert Townsend, The Tramps, Disco Inferno, The Funk Was Flamin', out of control. Let's see here. Cicely Tyson, Leslie Uggams, Usher, Frankie Valli, Luther Vandross, Vanity 6, Gino Vanelli, Melvin, Van Peebles, Ben Vereen, The Village People. Dang, Jack Wagner with his dumb hit song from General Hospital. Dionne Warwick, Jody Watley, Keenan Ivory Wayans. Oddly enough, the only Wayans to appear on Soul Train. That's frankly amazing to me. Barry White, Wild Cherry, Wild Orchid, Denise Williams, Michelle Williams, Vanessa Williams, Billy D. Williams, Al Wilson, Charlie Wilson, Jackie Wilson, Nancy Wilson, Bill Withers. Oh, God, I love me some Bill Withers. Stevie Wonder. That's about it. That's all I got to tell you today about the Soul Train. Please like, share, subscribe, retweet, notification bell, all those things that are free, the help of the algorithm, the almighty, all-powerful, all-seeing algorithm. We do have super chats. We do have memberships. If you'd like to avail yourselves of those, we'd be appreciative. And look, I don't have Johnson. This show isn't good enough for the Johnson Products Company to sponsor it. If it was, I wouldn't be asking for these. I'm putting her back up. Anyway. Let's see what else. Turn on your gifted memberships. Tells how to crawl at the bottom of the screen. There may be some hanging out here a little bit, and you can earn yourself a membership. That's going to be important on Saturday. I don't know what time yet. I'll know tonight after I get off the phone with the call I'm going to make, and I'll announce that tomorrow what time we're going to be on air Saturday. Because that's Pearl Harbor Day, man. That's Pearl Harbor Day, man. All right, let's get through your comments. Doctrine says Monster Energy is the best energy drink. I think I've already covered that. Uh-oh. You got a message here. Let's see. It's from a person about a thing. So I got to just Cobra! That's a thing now. Let's see here. Oh, let's see. Terry Nee says, Solid Gold Dancers was my horny jam. Well, I guess mine would have been Soul Train. Although I wasn't that particular back then. I wasn't that particular back in those days. Stanley says, let's not forget Jet Magazine's Beauty of the Week. Yeah, that's not in my research there. I do remember it, but they didn't mention it in any of this stuff. The Soul Train, says the Wolf. Hey, folks. The Wolf, I remember in college, had a lot of the clothes from the Soul Train. He was very... People saying hi. The Wolf says, wait, that's the hardest working man in show business. Hey, that lady that started Johnson was the first black millionaire. Well, at least woman millionaire. Stanley's laughing. Let's see here. Terry Nee and Wolf. There goes the stream. Yeah, usually is how it happens. Terry Nee says, what color was the jacket? It was a black jacket with that Sprite embroidered here. And man, what I really should have done was gotten a picture of that girl and like blurred out her face. Nobody was looking at her face. She was attractive in the face, but nobody. Let's see. Stanley says to the Wolf, actually, no, she was not. Madam C.J. Walker is generally recognized for that honor. Well, and of course, I performed live at the Madam Walker Theater in downtown Indianapolis. Aha, there you are. The Wolf says, yes, Doc, when we stream, all other streams move. The Doc Torn says, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, retweet, call, turn on gifted memberships. That's right. Do those things. We've shattered our goal of any amount of money, but we've only shattered that by $2. We'd like to make at least $4. See, I shouldn't say that because then some smart aleck from Pennsylvania will donate $2. God, is my hair messed up tonight or what? Just got a cut. And super chats. Yeah, I do that too. The Doctrine says, damn right, Wolf. Damn right. Wolf says, thank you for telling me what I just said, Stanley. What? No, I don't know if you said that. This woman millionaire. Uh-oh. 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 The doctrine says, so the Soul Train arrived at the station in '06. Yes, it did. Well, and then it continued in reruns. But, Wolf says, by the way, Stanley, buy me that ring. Stanley says, did I misread? I thought you said that lady started Johnson. That lady wasn't Madam C.J. Walker. Was she? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Here we go. I knew this was going to happen one day. Don, when... when he be cool, he be Popeye. But when he be bad, he be Billy the Kid. Little did the Wolf and I know when we met that jackass, was he running back or wide receiver for Ball State's football team, that phrase would live on for another 43 years. When he be cool, he be Popeye. But when he be bad, he be Billy the Kid. Remind me, please, what ring? Yes, Stanley, she was. It's a movie line, Stanley. Stanley says, Barbara Streisand? And he says, unfortunately, movies are not my forte. Yeah, politics and history are Stanley's, and I'd say sociology a little bit too, are his forte. He knows that like you know movies. Wolf. Wolf says, I have seen too many movies. Dude, you have 10,000 movies on like VHS and other things. The Wolf says, C.J. Walker died penniless, spent all her money having parties. Hunky Bronco says, hello. People saying hi. People saying hi. Stanley says, and I have read too many history books. One of them mentions the Walker Manufacturing Company, started by Madam C.J. Walker. She was the first black female millionaire. The Wolf says, Funky, are you enjoying a light and lively libation? There's a good chance of that. The Wolf says, I had a minor in history. Mostly I studied Europe, Italy, Persia, etc. Stanley says, how she ended up doesn't change the title. I might suggest fewer movies and more parties. The Wolf says, parties, you have no idea. Yeah, that's true. Unfortunately, the Gringo Giant missed my best party. Well, excuse me for playing soccer against Ohio State. Or was it Miami of Ohio? I can't remember, but I was somewhere doing a thing. But yeah, that party is legendary, as a matter of fact. Shorthand of that party, the Wolf rented out an elementary school and its gym. And through this giant bash that actually made money, we roasted a pig, there was all this food, there was tons of booze. Nobody got hurt. Nobody got nothing. It was just a seamless in, out. By the time they found out what happened, everybody was gone. It was anyway there. Let's see. Stanley says, to the Wolf, Persia would definitely be interesting to study. I once considered grad study in Middle Eastern studies. I've always had a passing interest in Persian Iranian culture. Stanley, you have missed a lot. I also studied Asia. Wolf says, Stanley, in the day... He always does this to me. In the days of the Greeks and the Romans, it was just considered good manners for the guests of the house to be given a massage. Look, I deserve a super chat for that, I think, really. More than just doing that, boys. I've done the Soul Train. Man, I'm really busting my hump here tonight. Anyway, by the way, was told earlier that I had never been outside, that I am a paraplegic in my mother's basement, and that I've never been outside. And I've also never used an axe or split wood. Yep. I think the Wolf has seen me outside. At least once or twice. I got told a lot of things. And what do you expect? Guys, fall down drunk every night of the week. Leonard Skinner. Let's see here. Jim Fanning, Leonard Skinner. I like me some Skinner. Jim, I might let you know that if you go to the TomGullyShow.com, one of my podcasts there is with the road manager of Leonard Skinner, Ron Eckerman, and he is one of because he's passed away from acute myeloid leukemia, but he is interviewed by me. And he's a survivor of the plane crash and tells all about it. So if you're a Skinner fan, A little Lucky Strike extra for you. Tom Gully, thetomgullyshow.com. Check it out. Stanley says, I've seen Jasmine Guy on TV and video recently. The last of the summer wine is the phrase that came to mind. I saw her recently in something. She's I think, better actress than she ever got credit for. Terry says, Pat Boone, Tiny Tim. The Blues Brothers, yes. Yes. From Joliet, Illinois. The Blues Band. Joliet, Jake, and Elmwood Blues. The Blues Brothers. Let's see here. Oh, Matthew Barnett from over in the UK, the UK horror scene. Good evening, Tom. Good evening. People saying hi. People saying hi to the UK. Stanley says, the good old days. Good olive oil and slave girls. Have them shaved and brought to my tent. I actually heard that is a line from a movie, and a Hollywood movie. Get that straight. Jim Fanning loves Motown. Who doesn't like Motown? I've never heard a person say, I hate Motown. Everybody loves Motown. Let's see. Stanley says, Spandau Ballet. I'd love to know that story. Me too. I'm only human. Turney says, love Bill Withers. Well, you know. Ain't no sunshine when she's gone. My brother, he sit me right down and he talked to me. Anyway, attorney Denny Terrio, Dance Fever. Well, Dance Fever was good. It was that third show I was thinking about. And one of the shows, I don't know if there's Solid Gold or Dance Fever, had the future Mrs. Wayne Gretzky on it as a dancer. And she was fine. Saw Your Jacket, $500. Was she selling it? Is she selling that jacket? That strumpet. $2. Not that rich. You're not that crazy. Who would, other than Wild Bill, who would blow $2 on this show? Jim Fanning with the thumbs up. UK Horror Scene, I said, hope you're doing well, Tom. Yeah, I hope so too. You and me both. You and me both. The Human League saying human. Oh, that makes sense. Spandau Ballet saying true and gold. I stand corrected. My soft edge of the declining British New Wave, the softer side of the UK invasion of the late 70s, early 80s. The Wolf says, UK, I think it should be something horror show in your screen name instead. You should see his page, Wolf, because he's met everybody in the horror thing. Every single person. Terry Nee, Bill Withers, yeah, Use Me. God, that's a great song. That's a great song. Okay, that's everything. That's all I got. I'm spent. Done. That's it. I could open the phone lines, but what useful purpose would that serve? Maybe I'll do an Ask Me Anything tomorrow. We'll just have the phone lines open the whole time. I don't know. I can't tell. So, can't wait for SG to put your face on something from Soul Train. Oh, you're referring to the Clockwork Orange, something horror show, really. Yes, horror show. I've been to UK horror scene for 5 years. I've been UK horror scene for 5 years now, yeah. He's just tying in the whole Groovy and that whole Anthony Burgess dialect. Let me see. See, now I got to do work. Thanks, StreamYard. You're just always helping. You're just a helper. You help and you help and you help and you keep helping and then you help some more. Where is the thing I was looking for that he had done, that he had said? There we go. There's my guy right there. Look at that fella. Look at that fella. He'll get to the bottom of this. And if he doesn't, well, we all know that Galumbo, hang on it, Galumbo is the man for the job right there. Look at that guy. Look at that fella. All right, forget him. Anybody got anything else? I got to run out of here and spend that $2. That's my plan. That's my plan. $2. I want my $2. Is there something else I was going to have to do? I'm looking at my stuff. I think that's it. I can't believe I got through all those names. But as you can tell, Soul Train had everybody. Everybody. It's actually kind of cool that they had the Captain and Tennille and the Spandau Ballet and the rest, the Culture Club. Casper Myers. The Gully has an amazing voice. I take boiled eggs with salt. The doctor was Mana Mana on Soul Train. I already closed the thing, man. I'm just going to go ahead and say yes. Everybody else was. I've actually got an interview lined up with Lori Cardiel from Day of the Dead. Wow. Girl, everybody's unhappy with the way their life has turned out. Why you be crying out here on the beach? Anyway, Jim Fanning says that was a good movie. I want my $2. Give it to me straight. I can take it. Is that from WKRP in Cincinnati? My hero, Dr. Johnny Fever. Give it to me straight, doctor. I can take it. Booger. Anyway, I don't know if that's it. The Wolf for the win. By the way, Wolf, thank you for the $5. You don't have to. We go way back. It embarrasses me when you do that. And here's why it embarrasses me. If I ever tried to do anything for you, you wouldn't let me. You wouldn't let me. Son of a. You wouldn't. I don't want to be beholden or something. Or you know. By the way, have we found Brad? Can we please find Brad? Damn Brad. Did Brad turn into one of those guys that pretends his past didn't exist? Anyway, the Doctorn rocks, man. The Wolf for the win. You will know her father, Chili Billy Carter. I don't know him. Was he one of those horror show hosts? The horror show guys, unless you're into all of them, you only knew yours. Maybe one or two around you'd hear of them. The Ghoul, and I think maybe it was Chicago or something. But we had Sammy Terry, but I don't know Chili Billy. Lori, I do know. I mean, I know that movie. I have that movie. I have all three of the trilogy. What we call the trilogy. Correct. Or as Fonzie used to say, correctamundo. Man, what did I do wrong with this camera setup today? I'm short. No, I guess I'm also short too, by the way. In addition to never have been outside my entire life. And that I live in my mother's basement. And a lot of other things were said about my mother too, by the way. Which I'm pretty sure aren't true. I'll have to call her and ask her. But yeah, Wolf. Yes, I'm paraplegic. My legs were amputated. What else? Never been outside because no one's ever seen me outside. What else? There was some other things too. Yeah. And I'm a grifter. Yeah, a grifter. None of us have ever seen you outside. What can I tell you? I mean, what in the hidey-ho can I tell you? Other than, let's get rid of that. And let's do this. And let's just, isn't that outside? I'm just asking for a friend. I mean, I've got other pictures. That one's just loaded in here and converted to a PDF. But isn't that outside? I mean, it's not a dome. Anyway, I see here. Was this that drunk guy? It wasn't that drunk guy. As a matter of fact, the drunk guy that it was makes the other drunk guy look sober. This is a guy that is pass out drunk all day, every single day. And when you're having a discussion about something important, he'll just butt in, drunk as hell. Miss Stanley, is the president part of the government? And ask, riveting, witty questions like that. Okay, so Bill Cardile was Pittsburgh-based. I got you. Shaking my head. I understand, but, well, never mind. Yeah. If you're going to go the troll route for views, two things. You can get high view counts. You will not make money. You will not. And you will not get sponsors. And if you're going to go down that route, you better get a lot better at it. Because just garden variety alcoholics, that ain't going to cut it. Go into some of these Dabbleverse, these Ethan Ralph, Mersch, all these lol cow type based things. They're doing the real deal. So either get better at that and just say screw it to any sort of, actual intent to be informative or whatever. Or maybe get rid of the drunks that interrupt everyone, that derail any sort of, it's your choice. I don't know. I made my choice. I'm not doing that no more. There's a guy, he's not in here tonight, but he's been hammering me to be on a network, which is it's an all black network. And I keep going, well, I'm not black. Why am I on, why you keep, And I've been thinking, well, there are some people I could recommend. I cannot recommend that. Stanley Cross, I can recommend to anybody. That he's ready for prime time. But past that, yeah. Let me see. Terry Nee says, so the Jag is not real? No, the Jag is not real. It's totally a, you probably don't even have a car. Didn't we just see you being Ubered to a haircut? Photoshop. Yes, it's totally Photoshop. Look at those fabulous legs. You're damn straight. Look at that. Look at that chiseled bronze there. Look at that. Now, the wolf knew that guy. Well, you'd want to run into that guy on a soccer field. Once bitten, twice shy, baby. Love that song. Say goodnight, Gracie. Goodnight, Gracie. The chef is saying goodnight, Gracie. Jim Fanning says, okay, Rochester. Oh, Rochester. Yes, boss. What do you need? Oh, Don. People saying hi. The UK horror scene says his show was called The Chiller Theater in the 60s and 70s. He's Night of the Living Dead in 68 and 90 as the news reporter. Oh, that's cool. That's how I know his name. And if you're a member of the Tom Gully Show, I think our Night of the Living Dead episode might still be up. It might not. I don't know. Our watch party for that. People saying hi. Once Bitten sounds like the vampire movie. It is, but it's also a song. Once bitten, twice shy, baby. Is that White, the big fire? White, I don't remember. We did a show on it, I think. White, Jack somebody or other. He died recently. A fire in Rhode Island, burn everybody up. Snake. White Snake. I don't think that was it. Hold on. Let's see. I mean, it might be the band. see here. It's been twice. Great White. Sorry. Great White. It would be Great White. Not White Snake. Because that had Tawny Katane rolling around on the hood of that car. UK Sorenstein said, I did a watch party a couple of years ago with some of the 1968 and 1990 cast. A friend of mine is in the 1990 film, is sort of an extra. A guy named Chris Gore, who founded Film Threat magazine. I think that's how he got into it. I think that's right. I know he was also in Carnosaur. Anyway, the 1990 version was directed by someone that when they pass, and they will pass one of these days, I will tell a very good story about them. And I will share emails and recorded phone conversations. Well, mostly messages that were left on my answering machine. And I think one phone call, one actually back and forth phone call. God, that guy's a jerk. Let's see here. UK Star said, I know Chris. Okay, well, mention my name to him. See what he says. No pun intended, Chris Gore. Yeah, Chris Gore. He's quite a guy. Quite a fella. Quite a fella. And I knew him when he was just started that magazine. He's kind of a, who was it? Tom Sawyer that got people to help him paint the fence. That's Chris Gore. Matter of fact, when I would come up to Royal Oak, because we made a little movie together called Ouch, which I think is a DVD extra on the movie Chris made called, was it Red, I think? Anyway, we made a movie called Ouch, and I went up there for a number of weekends that we used to shoot this movie. And when I would go up there, I would sleep in the Film Threat offices, which were above an auto parts store or an auto repair store. And down the hall was Fun Magazine. And I think Sam Raimi had an office that he had like years ago, before we were doing our thing there, that he just sort of kept because it probably cost nothing. And occasionally there would be a Sam Raimi or Bruce Campbell sighting in that vicinity. So that was an interesting time. Very interesting time. I got nothing else. Kids. So what we're going to do here is we're going to look at that old clock on the wall that, oh, and I got to reload my video. Like the Reverend Al Green, it's time for me to get up on out of here. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here. And with all that being said, I think the only thing left to say is it's going to take me a second to get this video file up because, it's not already loaded in anymore. For fun. Till next time, we'll see you next time.